Okay, welcome back to my opinion. This little video is going to be about the lack of unity that we have as Americans and the whole idea of civil war. A lot of people think that it's impossible that we won't have a civil war. A lot of people on the other end think that it's inevitable. And I'm not so sure either way. But I do know this. Hopefully, none of us want a civil war. Hopefully, we can resolve our minor issues amongst ourselves and not end up in a civil war. Here's the thing. There's several factors here. One, I think most of the world would love to see us in a civil war, including many of our allies. A lot of our allies have a disdain for us, a disdain for us, a very bad taste for Americans. You see that a lot in Europe. They're very critical of America, of the United States. And of course our enemies, who really shouldn't be our enemies, who we could be working with and trying to build relationships with, like Russia, China, even North Korea. The Middle East, much of it we could with Turkey, we can with Syria, of course Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, many others. We can. Some of them we just have to leave alone and let them be. But we really need to realize that if we have a civil war, that's going to make us weaker to our enemies. That's going to make us vulnerable to much of the world that either hates us or has a very bad opinion of us, even if we're their allies. And there's a movie on Netflix, I think it's I can't remember the name of it. It's with Kevin Bacon, Ethan Hawke, and Julia Roberts, where it's a good movie, and it really gets you to thinking. Who could there possibly be countries behind our enemies, behind this whole thing about making us fight each other and argue with each other on social media? Trumpers, anti-Trumpers, people who hate the liberals and the Democrats and woke. And yet we all of us, no matter who you are, we all have something in common. We're Americans. And if we, just like Abraham Lincoln said, united we stand, divided we fall. And that is absolutely true. Our enemies, just like they did with Rome, will wait for us to fall from within so that they can come in like the buzzards that they are and pick us clean, like hyenas. We have really got to get a grip on the things that we're arguing about. For example, gender equality. Who cares? Everybody's equal. Move on. Race. It's pigmentation. Get over it. Move on. And I think a lot of the hatred that's being built up is being fed through social media by outside sources, just to make us more and more angry and angry, and keep us preoccupied with things that don't matter. And maybe even, who knows, maybe even cause us to have a civil war. Or if that's the end result, that's all the more better to them, to our enemies. Could that be possible? Is that what's really going on? Are we really that? Because, and anyone who thinks that we won't end up in a civil war, that's, not going to happen. We've had civil wars. A civil war, the Civil War. It can happen again. So we've got to really calm down and start trying to, I was watching a Bill Maher show not too long ago, a clip anyway, and he nailed it. We're all arguing over stupid stuff, and there's such a mix. There's, black entertainers singing country songs. There's transgenders for Trump. There's all kinds of, there's conservatives who are, black conservatives, Democrats who 40% of Democrats own a gun. There's so much we have in common, and yet we're focusing on the differences. And this is America. This is the United States. That's one of the things we cherish, is the differences. So we've got to start thinking about what we have in common and quit thinking about the differences, or we are going to eventually, what our enemies, I think, want is to end up in a civil war so that they can come in and pick us clean. Anyway, tell me what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and be safe.